yesteryear. Now we're going back a few hundred years, like about nearly 300 years ago. We're going to speak today about a famous rabbi of his time, Rabbi Joseph ben Solomon Fiemetta, who was a very, very famous rabbi in his day. He was a rabbi in Ancona. He was a Rosh Yeshiva. He was a famous Payatan and a great. I believe he was also a Kabbalist in Italy. Now, I believe his Hilula actually happens to be on Tet Shvat. It happens to be 9th of Shvat. We're not really recording this at the time period of his Hilula, but be it as may, he was a well-known rabbi of his period in time. Let's explore a few of the highlights of his life. Now, he was a father-in-law, most notably, of another famous rabbi, I think we've spoken about on various occasions before, Rabbi Samson ben Joshua Moses Morpurgo. That's how to pronounce his English name. He was a physician, a liturgist. He himself passed away, I believe, in the year 1740, and he was actually from Gradiska. I think we mentioned him on various occasions before. He was the author of the Etzadat, I believe, and he would receive a rabbinic ordination, I think, in 1709, at that point in time, from the chief rabbi of Mantua, and he was, I think, he was working rabbinate of Ancona, working alongside Rabbi Joseph Fiemetta, who we were speaking about before, and which is very, very interesting. Okay, so I think Rabbi Morpurgo actually would be a sole rabbi of Ancona till the year 1740, after Rabbi Fiemetta passed away, but that's just as a side note over here. Okay. So Rabbi Yosef was a famous rabbi. He wrote an atonement prayer, I think in Italian, right, let's just say. He did the Kunj Shobavim of another famous rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before, Rabbi Moses Zacuto. He's a great rabbi of his time, rabbi we've mentioned about on various occasions before over here in this series, and I recommend everyone to learn about him. Rabbi Moses Zacuto actually happens to have been, he was known as a Ramaz also. He was Kabbalist, he was a poet. I think he actually came from Portuguese descent, from a family in Amsterdam, and was a very, very worldly rabbi, Rabbi Moses Zacuto. So he would write his thing, I think, in Venice in the year 1712. And then there was Or Boker, which contained tefillot and slichot. And this was another, let's just say, very important teaching of his, respectively. And he was really, really writing a lot of different works at that stage in time. Then I think he wrote, it's reported over, he would write a probation to Nehemiah Hayon's Oz Le'Elokim book in 1713. Now remember, Nehemiah Hayon is quite well known. He was known as one of the, let's just say, the heresy with regards to the Sabbatian movement in of its day, and many people became Sabbatians at that point in time, which is a whole topic into himself. I think Nehemiah Hayon himself was from Sarajevo, I think a Sephardic rabbi, but he was excommunicated by Rabbi Moshe Hagiz and the Chacham Tzvi when they found out that many of his teachings were deemed to be heretical at that point in time. But that is for another class into itself. Okay, I think he would also write in 1713 a poem on Rabbi Abraham Cohen, who was a famous Jewish physician, a religious philosopher, and a poet of Zante. He would write on his Kahunat Abraham. This was in the year in Venice in the year 1719, and yes, that is very, very interesting. I think among the Italian response, there's one regarding, I think, a communal taxation signed by Shabte Panzieri, who happened to be an Italian rabbi of the 17th century, respectively. Okay, we can explore a few more highlights with regards to him. We can see he was an author also in its own right, and I think much of his books would actually contain various piyutim that he would actually compose, and prayers that was composed in of itself. I think he would do a prayer of thanksgiving also. It was reported over. I think there was salvation of the Italian community. I think it was reported over that there was an earthquake that actually occurred at one window of time, and this earthquake, obviously it shook Italy. He would actually record, in gratitude to Hashem, a specific Thanksgiving, let's just say, a Thanksgiving prayer over there at I think this was in the year 1691, if I'm not mistaken, and I think various manuscripts of various different sermons of his came about, and I think among his students included Rabbi Yitzchak Pacifico, and maybe there was connection also Rabbi Chaim Voltaire. I think he was maybe a rabbi in Venice. Now, yes, that's very, very interesting. So, remember, Italy at that stage in time was, let's say, a bastion place of Torah learning. Now, I believe it's reported over he passed away on the 9th of Shvat. In that specific year, we're talking about 304 years ago here from the time of recording, or 304 and a half years ago, because it's his Hilul is more about half a year away also. And yes, as for Rabbi Shimshon Morforgo was his Chatan. Now, his famous book was Or Baka, which we mentioned about before here on this class over here. Let's explore a little bit within regards to this famous let's just say, definitely a famous book out there. I think it was printed, as we stated before, in the year 1709. So it was 12 years before he passed away or something. I think it contains 112 pages. And within regards to Tefillot, for Erev Rosh Chodesh, for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, for Shovavim, specifically Shovavim is between Shemot all the way to Mishpatim. It's an acronym for those parshiot, those 6 parshiot, respectively, and various other importances in of its own right, which I recommend everyone to look into. It was, I believe, printed in Venice in its day. So I recommend everyone to look into that and learn more about him. We recorded in this series possibly as many as, we recorded a lot of videos on different great rabbis of yesteryear. And I would recommend everyone to look back at the channel at the great rabbis record about, maybe record about as many as 50 Italian rabbis that we just have to stress over. So it just shows the breadth we are getting to. And I recommend everyone to learn more about him. There's more various different articles on him, especially featured, I think, in the National Library website also, and Ben Yehuda website also, respectively, and in various other places. HebrewBooks.org will also bring him down some of his books and his papers and manuscripts, for which I definitely would recommend as a specific resource, respectively. So that is very, very important. I think one of his students was Rabbi Yitzchak Pachi Picot. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. And learn more. Now, friends, we're a community here. We are learning about famous rabbis of yesteryear. Now, if you descend from any of the great chachamim we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. If you feel anyone is interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos also to other people. We are nearing, at the moment, a staggering 7,000 subscribers, which is absolutely phenomenal achievement. I don't think we would have expected it. We don't just record videos about great rabbis of yesteryear. One thing we're also trying to do at the moment is to explore different synagogues and different yeshivot that was in, let's say, the more Sephardic countries in its day. So we've been doing a series of that, and we have been relating over various informations within regards to that specifically also, which I recommend everyone to look at. We also have an interesting Jewish rabbinic personality to give over some amazing wisdom for Am Yisrael every single day, which is obviously a huge schutz for us, and we hope we can go from strength to strength without doubt within regards to that. So Rabbi Joseph Fiemetta, we're concentrating on him today. So be well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and learn more about the great book, great Italian rabbis of yesteryear, and great books and the great videos and importances of yesteryear also. So thanks very much for watching, and have a great day. Thank you.